sort of get into the game. Why was that?
That's true. I always take my time with everything because there's lots of people I haven't met before. I can't just like.
But I was obviously not. What is she? What? Is that the sleep? Don't about that, so.
CeeC for walking back into an already volatile situation and making it worse. Big Brother finds you guilty of physical violence.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Canberra's World Big Brother Bbnaija Review. Thank you. That being said, if you are new here, welcome. I give light-hearted reviews and I discuss different topics. Basically, I'm a multifaceted person and I'm happy to have you. Please do well to subscribe and leave a comment at the end of the video. So now let me take you through the journey of today's show. So what happened was earlier today we all have been waiting, like when is Big Brother going to call them to the lounge? We already knew what happened yesterday. They got into a fight, and if you want to know the entire story of how they got into a fight, that's Doing and Ilebaye and how CeeC later became a part of that fight, just check out my last video on this channel because I explained everything in great details. Now that being said, let's talk about today. So we're all holding our breath. So we're wondering, okay, what is going to happen? When are they going to give her a strike? How many strikes will they give her? Will she get disqualified? We're all anxious. I'm sure Ilebaye was very anxious because she was still crying earlier in the day. Claire and Alex were consoling her. At this point in time, many of the housemates were done pitying her. I think Alex and Claire were the only ones feeling sorry for her because I feel like she had overplayed the victim card to a point. I'm not saying that she hasn't been bullied, but I'm saying that she has allowed herself become a perpetual victim. You can't be bullied by some people and then stand up to the bullies. But in this particular case, she wasn't being bullied, but I still feel like she had already come to terms with the whole bully identity or being bullied identity, that she can't even tell the difference between when she's bullied or when she just messed up. That being said, finally, it was 10 minutes to the live show. Big Brother calls everybody, calls us to the lounge. And why I say us is because as Big Brother was calling them, me too, I was sitting on this couch. This was where I was sitting now, all excited, like, oh my God, the time for judgment, because I've been holding my breath all day. And the time of truth had come. And Big Brother played the tape, of course, and you could just see all the housemates watching themselves. She was grinning so much because of the role he played. And after everything, she saw how she had yanked CeeC's hair and pushed Doing. So she was really, like, you could tell from the look on her face, she was really scared. Like, oh my God, I really did touch these people. Thank God, after everything, Big Brother warned everybody, talked about provocation, talked about physical violence. Then Big Brother gave CeeC first a warning and said that she will receive a punishment during the week. She won't be able to participate in the black card game that gives immunity, and she will also not be able to participate in the head of house game, which also gives immunity, saying that CeeC is automatically up for eviction next week. Would it affect her? I don't think so, because she has the fan base and she has loyal fans that will vote for her. And back to Ilebaye, Big Brother generously, and I say this because they could have disqualified her and nothing would have happened, because she did mess up and physical violence is a no-no. However, generously, Big Brother gave her 2 strikes and she was very grateful because she broke down in tears and literally fell on her seat, and Big Brother had to tell her to stand up. He wasn't done because and I've never seen anybody so grateful to get 2 strikes, because she knows she could have gone home today clean. So I'm really happy for her. I hope that she learned her lesson. But the best part of this whole thing is, I think after seeing everything, she was not mentioning to Spirit as she has to go and talk to them. But I said, okay, try to talk to them before the eviction happens, because you don't know who's going to go home. Maybe one of those people you're fighting with, as Doing and CeeC, will go home. Before we know what's happening, I just saw that CeeC, Ilebaye, and Doing were sitting down together. I'm like, is it not these 3 musketeers that people have been dragging each other on Twitter for since yesterday? Not even on Twitter, on YouTube, on TikTok. People have been fighting for their matter. The 3 of them, the 3 musketeers, the 3 super strikers, they're the ones sitting together. But jokes aside, jokes apart, I was really proud to see that 3 of them talking, and they were talking about how the alcohol affected it. And we're talking to Ilebaye that now she has 2 strikes. CeeC was telling her she has to be careful. Doing was telling her to be careful because now that she has 2 strikes, any one thing she's gone. but it just warmed my heart to see how quickly they're able to recover. That just goes to show that first and foremost, like I've always said, Doyin loves Ilebaye and she knows it. But Ilebaye needs to step up and be a better friend. Don't take Doyin for granted. Doyin is always there for you. When Doyin needed you, you should have showed up. And since you messed up, you should be woman enough to say sorry and own your ish instead of forming victim. Apart from Doyin, I think the second person that likes her is CeeC. Because at the end of the day, CeeC pardoned her last Monday with her pardon me please, her one single pardon me please opportunity. So those two girls actually do like her. So that's why I'm not surprised to see how quickly they're already conversing again. Now, will the friendship go back to what it was? Probably not immediately because there's still some healing that needs to be done. There's some accountability that needs to be taken, and there's just some personal decisions that need to be made. However, I'm happy that CeeC did not get a strike. I'm happy that she got two strikes because she deserved to at least get some sort of punishment for what she did, but still not get disqualified just because we wanted Deborah to be kind to her. And yeah, I'm also glad that Doyin is still around. After the whole buhaha with Ilebaye receiving strikes and CeeC receiving strikes, the eviction show started, and Ebuka started with Kidwaya and was like, Kidwaya, why is it that most head of house they try to keep the peace? You are doing the opposite. You're trying to see everything fall apart. And he was like, yes, he's trying to, because he is going to stop anybody from fighting. So if you want to act foolish, he's going to take his popcorn and eat it. And I'm like, it's not as simple as you are saying it. Like he's just saying, oh, I'm going to be passive. But I think he's not even being passive. I think they really want to see these people fight. It's one thing if you want peace, but you decide that if people choose violence, I'll leave them. I feel like they kind of are setting traps for these females to fall into. Because let's not forget that Kidwire, Pere, and Nikki had a meeting earlier in the week stating that they wanted CeeC and Alex to get into a fight and get a strike. So Kidwire is really rooting for the violence and rooting for the strike. But the funny thing is that none of these guys will still win. That's just the truth. You don't win when you play dirty. Now, after he asked her that, I think he asked Tolani Badge about her alliances. If her alliances are still the same, she was being very defensive. The truth is her alliances are no longer the same. She's now almost 100% loyal to Kidwire and Neo. And I hope that that works out well for her because the voting audience is not even up for any Mumu alliance. And I think Ibuka asked CeeC about Perry, like, why is Perry not speaking? She said, since she got into the house, she doesn't understand Perry's character again. No? So it is better for her to stay away. And then they asked Perry, that one, he now said that it's because he did not support her during the fight, and he even casted Neo. Neo was like, hey, Chineke. Like, when people are arguing and they not mention your name and say, this one say, I could literally see the look on Neo's face, like, why do you have to call me in this your matter? You want me to have issues with CeeC? And then because said, oh, well, it's weird. Personally, I don't think it's weird. I think CeeC made the right decision because immediately I heard the plan that Ferrer was having for CeeC and Alex that they should fight and get strikes. I'm like, nah, this guy is not a friend. So I hope that CeeC does not, even for 1 minute, go back to being friends with him. Let him just stay with where he is with Alex, and may God also be with Alex because that guy is not to be trusted. He's all about the game. And last but not least, Ebuka touched on Cross and Angel and asked, like, why are you guys not speaking? I think Ebuka is trying to trigger some of the conversations that need to be had because it will be great content and it will be interesting to watch and it might change the dynamic of the show and make it more interesting. So I think Ebuka is just trying to remind them that, see you, there's so much for you to do. And, so it was really good. And then let's get to the live eviction show. Then we had our jury, 3 juries. Well, like the odd numbers so that there's no tie, so that we don't do Dogon Turenchi. So why I like that there are 3 people in the jury so that there's no tie. There's always going to be somebody that will get the most votes. How do I feel about it? I think it's a new concept. Let's see how it goes. Now, today, Princess didn't get the lowest vote, but she got sent home, and that was my problem from the very first start. When I first heard jury, my thing is that maybe say the person will not get the least votes go house, and that's what happened today. Now, why Princess one is a bit acceptable is because the truth is Princess has not been very entertaining in the house, so we can't really blame them. If I was part of that jury too, I will vote for Princess. Secondly, I don't think that they tell them which one has the least out of the two. They just put the two names there, so they don't know. So if I see those two names, I would think that even Princess got the least amount of votes. So I can't really blame them. I think they made the right choice. However, let's see how it goes. Because I think that if the jury has a certain vendetta against the housemates that are going home, that might cause it some problems. But let us just see how it goes. Hopefully things end well and not in disaster, because they will drag Shaggy and Banza out of those jury if they should remove people because of personal vendetta, and they can catch that, oh, this thing you did was not actually fair, but it was just based on your personal vendetta against this person. That might be a bit problematic. Like, my heart goes out to her. It's not easy to be the first person to leave twice. And I feel like this one might hurt her a bit more than the first time, because this time around she didn't even come last. But what can she do now? So yeah, let's just see how it goes. Thank you so much for watching my review. Please do subscribe, and I promise to always give you updates and give you a wholesome review. Thank you for watching. Love you. Bye.